We're joined now by Husker Alliance Sean Callahan. Sean, good morning. Nebraska appears to have a 2025 target at quarterback. Algona, Iowa quarterback TJ Lateef. What do you know about TJ Lateef?
He's from California.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
California.
Okay. Lateef, though. Tell us about Lateef, though, Sean.
I'm not copying off you in geography class, Jake. Orange County, California, Algona, Iowa. But TJ Lateef, a four-star prospect. At least the guy that they've emerged or, circled in on now as what appears to be their top guy at quarterback. Dylan Duff was from St. Louis. They offered him as well. He's committed to Kansas State in the last week. Lateef, though, announced he will visit Nebraska for the spring game weekend. As of right now, that is the only quarterback scheduled to come to campus. You generally try to like to get one high school guy in, one per class. And this looks to be the guy that, they're hoping to get in. But the reality is, if Dylan Raiola has a really, really big spring or Daniel Callahan and these other guys do, it will be tough. I mean, when you have freshman quarterbacks, and if they do really well for you, it's going to hurt your recruiting for the future because those guys that you're trying to recruit are going to see that. And I'm sure Alex Mansky, that was a big factor why he immediately moved over or went to Iowa State when Nebraska was kind of the perceived leader for several months. But, it's a good problem to have because obviously Nebraska's got two very good young quarterbacks already on the roster.
Jake, Alex Mansky's from Algona, Iowa.
Yeah.
That's who you're.
Classic mistake.
That's
my
fine.
Bad.
Yeah, he's moved on. He's going to Iowa State, Sean said. So TJ Lateef's from Orange County. There's also a quarterback at Millard South that hasn't got an offer, but he threw for Nebraska, Satterfield and Glenn Thomas. Jett Tamala.
What a great name. That's a good name.
Jett Tamala. What do you know about him, Sean? He's a 2026 quarterback from Millard South.
Well, yeah, we, as a sophomore, had a huge season. I think 2,800 yards and 26 touchdown passes last year. And, last year we measured him at 6'2.5". He's now 6'4" this year at the same event. So he's grown 1.5 inches. He's added 10 pounds, put up major numbers. He's on a team that, I'm going to count him as a Power 5 guy too down the road, but there's already 3 Power 5 guys on that team that play tight end and receiver today. So he's going to have an opportunity to put up huge numbers this year. They're going to open the season with a national game against Vasha in Arizona, a semifinalist in the highest classification. If he does really well out of the gates, especially against national level competition, he could blow up. And I think this spring he could really blow up, especially if people come in and watch him throw live and he does well. And he's 6'4". I mean, I was talking to the Bellevue West coach, Mike Huff, and he's like, Sean, I've learned, long ago, the length is so important. These guys, when they come, they look at that length of these kids as much as anything. And so he's got that already too. And there's a lot of good 6'1" quarterbacks out there that just don't get the attention. But if you're already 6'4" with the potential and the numbers this kid has, he's going to get a lot of eyeballs on him.
John, you put together this pretty amazing in-state tour. And on Sunday, one of the things I learned is if you were doing off-season high school power rankings, Millard South would be numero uno by a long ways. Am I wrong?
Right. Yeah, I think they are. I mean, they fell in the semifinals last year to Elkhorn South, and it was an upset. They were picked to beat Elkhorn South, but they should have probably been in the finals and played Westside. They were the only team a year ago that played Westside competitively. It was a game in the fourth quarter before the Warriors pulled away on them. Now they return everybody, but then this is kind of where some local feathers have been ruffled. I mean, they've added transfers. I mean, almost like what you're seeing in college football. I mean, a 4-star tight end from Elkhorn North, Chase Lofton, has transferred there. Papillion LaVista's top offensive lineman has transferred into that program. So it's high school football. I mean, there's definitely, the stakes have gotten pretty high within Omaha, where you're seeing a lot of local transferring going on. They have added some key pieces to a team that already had everybody coming back. Westside has lost they have Christian Jones returning and some key guys. I would imagine Westside will still be, right up there at 2. Elkhorn South's going to be right up there. Bellevue West will be up there. Prep will be up there. Kearney's going to be good again. But yeah, I think Millard South is, when you look at it, I think they're the easy number one pick for me right now heading into the season.
Sean, speaking of the in-state tour, you also visited Omaha North. We know Tyson Terry is an exceptional wrestler, state champion there, but how good of a football player is he as a Nebraska commit?
Well, he started as a freshman on the lines in Class A. He was dominant. And he got his offer from Nebraska at that age. It's so hard to play at the line level, offense and defense, as a freshman in Class A football, especially. You just don't see it. Then you take it to another level. He went in and won the heavyweight wrestling championship as a freshman, which has never happened before. And he's never lost. He's got a chance to be a 4-time heavyweight champion. There's only been one other guy that I know of that's been close. He's a lower class wrestler named Mike Schaaf. Years back, ended up going to South Dakota State. He won 3 out of 4, I think, at heavyweight. I believe he was runner-up as a freshman, if I remember that year correctly. But you just don't see a lot of young wrestlers come up the ranks like Terry has, and he's tough. I mean, he's a North Omaha kid. The family bleeds North Omaha, and that's why he goes there. All of his uncles, his dad went there. Larry Martin is a big person in their life, and he's a throwback in a lot of respects, just the way he carries himself, the way he plays, and the toughness. You just don't see kids that kind of have that old school toughness to them, like Tyson Terry has right now.
He's one of 3 in-state commitments to Nebraska's class of 2025. One of them also is Caden Vermoss, who was there. Caden Vermoss averaged 13 yards a carry last year at Millard North. Caden Vermoss, what do you expect from him in his last year?
Well, new head coach Alan Burrell, and they have Pierce Newberry there as well, who has a Husker offer. He's got 4 Power 5s as a linebacker there. Then they have another guy, Henry Rayberg, who has 2 or 3 FBS offers as well. So they've got a good team. Millard North is probably knocking on the door, if not a top 5 team as well, heading into next year. They don't have a quarterback right now. Sebastian Serco was going to transfer there from Omaha North. Now Sebastian Serco is, according to his Twitter bio, going to high school in Florida. So the QB situation at Omaha or Millard North for new head coach Alan Burrell, that is a big deal because it's no longer the Fred Petito system. They're going to run a new offense, a new system at Millard North from what they've run for the last 40 years under Fred Petito. So that will be something to kind of watch. But Vermoss, he's explosive. He's fast. And Burrell used the word, he's like a unicorn. We're just going to try to give him the ball in lots of different ways and utilize him. And both him and Newberry will play a lot both ways. There's some Class A coaches that only want to play guys one way. And then there's some that when you have dudes like Vermoss or Newberry, you play them both ways and you try to maximize their impact on a football game.
Have you seen as much tension as there is right now among those coaches with these transfers? I'm not trying to start anything here, but there's some tension, isn't there?
Oh, there's no doubt. And I'm not going to get into like some of the things I came with, but yeah, there's a legit tension right now brewing in the local high school football market, just with transferring without moving. I mean, just like what you're seeing in college football, essentially, where kids are leaving a good situation to go to another, what they perceive might be just a little bit better for whatever reason that situation is. It causes tension. I mean, if you have a really good player leave your team that you worked with and all of a sudden they're going to go to a rival that's going to beat you, there's definitely, I think, some tension amongst these local coaches. And it's really 4 or 5 of the top programs. It's not every program, but it's the bottom. If there's good players at lower tier programs in the city of Omaha, they get found and they go to another school. I mean, it's happening in Lincoln. I mean, there's a kid that left a team here in the city and he's going to go play for somebody else this year. I believe he's going to go from Lincoln Northeast to Lincoln East. So you see that. I mean, if a guy is good at football and they want to have the best chance to be seen or be on a better team, they're going to leave a bottom tier program to go to a better program to hopefully get a little bit more exposure.
All right, Sean.
Sean, always good stuff. Thanks for the time. We'll chat with you again next week.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.